Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So we've talked over here numerous times about how our food is pretty much being messed with. I was going to use a different word, but we'll keep adult language down today. Our food is being messed with from numerous directions, right? Whether it's, them claiming that there's bird flu in the milk, or they're claiming that there is a chicken shortage, or they're claiming that there's mad cows probably coming back next. Remember, we talked about swine flu. They talked about some stuff that was happening to the pork in China, which, if you don't remember, Smithfield is now owned by a non-USA company. There's a lot of pork in Smithfield, all different kinds of things, right? We talked also about how over the pandemic, you can throw an L in there anytime you want, that they decided, and by they, I mean the FDA, said that these companies that were out there could change the ingredients in their products without having to change their labels. This was during the whole shortage issue and supply chain issue and everything else. And they were giving companies a little bit of leeway, if you will, to make changes to their products and not have to tell the customers, which we all know is extremely terrifying because people do have food allergies. And when they're not updating their labels with things they are using or not using, and you go buy those things and you eat those things, you could have an allergic reaction and have no idea why, because if you read the label, it's not going to say everything that's in there. And we talked about how that is unethical, number one. It is terrifying, number two. A lot of issues, right? Well, the FDA, who I'm not a fan of, finally seems to be doing something correct, but not even for the right reasons. So the FDA has come out and they're warning consumers, you and I, that Sara Lee and Entenmann's, which I've always thought was Entenmann's, but it's Entenmann's with an N in there. Look, I'll let you guys read it. I did not realize that's how it was spelled, Entenmann's. It feels real stupid to say. I'm just going to put it like that. They are being warned by the FDA to not claim foods contain allergens when they don't. And let me explain why this is a huge deal, okay? When you go to the store and you buy anything that's been processed, which is 99% of our food these days, it seems, there's more stuff that's been processed in the middle aisles and a lot more stuff creeping into the outer aisles that have also been processed that have labels. These labels will say contains milk, contains wheat, contains sesame, contains soy, and then it'll say contains allergens. It'll just say like a random thing, right? And then they'll say processed on equipment, shared equipment, blah, 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 right? And they put that on there so that you know that there is the possibility of there being an issue. Well, the problem here with Sara Lee and Entenmann's doing this is they are doing it not for your safety, but for their back page, their money, basically. And let me explain why. So according to this, the FDA, the food safety regulators, said Tuesday they have warned a top U.S. bakery to stop using labels that say its products contain potentially dangerous allergens when they don't. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration inspectors found that Bimbo Bakeries, which is just a funny name, Bimbo Bakeries USA, which includes brands such as Sara Lee, Oro Wheat, Thomas's, like the bagels, Entenmann's, and Ballpark Buns and Rolls. So under Bimbo Bakeries, they got a whole lot of little subsidiaries or whatever's underneath their umbrella that are doing business for them, right? They are listing ingredients such as sesame or tree nuts on labels, even when they aren't in the foods. Let me explain why this is such a big deal. The rest of this article I'll put in the pinned comment because it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's got good stuff, but the whole point behind this is they are putting those things in there so that if you go to the grocery store and you buy Ballpark Buns, or you buy anything Thomas, or you buy anything Entenmann's or Sara Lee, and you get home and you eat something and you have some sort of issue, they can say, well, we told you there were allergens in it, that's on you. Even if it's not in there. They're putting these things on their labels to kind of keep their butts covered, right? Also, at the same time, they're doing it so that they don't have to make sure that there's no cross-contamination, because that costs money, honey. And you know what that does? It dips into their profits. When you make sure that the areas you are working in are sterile, I don't know if that's the right word, but kosher, that's also still not the right word, but clean enough that there is no possibility of cross-contamination, that costs a lot of money. And they don't want to spend that money. So they would rather say we'll just put the label on there and it covers us no matter what. If there's cross-contamination, there's cross-contamination. If there's something else in there that's not listed in the ingredients and somebody gets sick, well, we did put on there may contain allergens. And it's up to the court to decide what those allergens are. There's ones that are listed as known allergens for the populace, but everybody may have their own specific allergens, things that bother them. For me, coconut oil. I read the crap out of every single label. If I go to a restaurant, I have to specifically ask if there is coconut oil in anything, because I will go into anaphylactic shock from coconut oil. And it's not a way I really want to die. I don't want to die because of coconut. It doesn't make any sense, right? So you have these companies now, this one specifically, Bimbo Bakeries USA, that are putting labels on their food to cover themselves instead of them actually putting the correct products and doing the correct things in their bakeries. They are covering their butts so that it doesn't matter what happens to you, they are covered. And again, this is scary because we cannot trust the things that we are reading on our food. We cannot trust these companies. We cannot trust the labels. And that's concerning in so many different ways, especially if you happen to be a parent who has kids who are deathly allergic to things. I am more worried about my kid getting something she's allergic to than me. Yes, it would suck if I get something I'm allergic to, but as a parent, I worry more about her, right? So we check labels everywhere all the time. And then, you learn that the labels don't really matter because they can say whatever they want. They can put whatever they want. They can cover their own butts and forget yours. Yours doesn't matter. Only theirs does. It's not a good way to practice business, number one. And as a consumer, it doesn't really give you any sort of, y'all, I hate when I can't think of words. It doesn't give you any confidence, in the things that you're buying, the products that you're buying, the companies that you're purchasing from. And it makes it so that more and more people want to figure out how to do these things for themselves at home. Now, even if I had everything under the sun, I don't know if I would know how to make certain things that you could buy that are fully processed. But also, we don't really need fully processed stuff. You have to think about it. If it's processed so it doesn't go bad and it lasts forever and ever, what do you think it's doing to your insides? One person could say, well, maybe it's going to keep us processed so we last longer. I feel like that's not correct. I feel like it's probably making all kinds of ruckus, racket, whatever in our bodies and our digestive systems, our everything. And that's why more and more people are having so many health issues, because we're eating so many highly processed foods, which are wreaking havoc on our bodies because we're not built to eat processed foods. But anyways, that's not the point here. All I can say is double check all your stuff and just keep in mind that they are lying to us no matter what, which is never the way I want to end a video or not the news I want to bring you guys, but it is important stuff to know. So Sara Lee and Intimins specifically are, according to the FDA, have been, a little slap on the wrist for willfully, knowingly, falsely, I don't think that's a word either, putting things on their packages that are not true in order to cover their butts. In order to cover their butts. Now, the FDA isn't going to say it like that, but that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that they don't want to spend the money to make sure that their production facilities are actually cross-contamination free, and they don't want to have to pay out if you buy something and take it home and you have some sort of allergic reaction. This way they can go, it says contains allergens. I don't know what you want me to do about it. That's pretty shady stuff right there. Just plain and simple. Shady. Anyway, that's it for now. See you guys again later on the next one. Love ya. Bye.